Which defensive matchups boost your fantasy football lineup? Are you ready to supercharge your fantasy football lineup? Today, we are diving into which defensive matchups can really give your team a boost. Understanding these matchups can make a big difference in your weekly lineup decisions. Let's break it down. First, target defenses that are up against weak or turnover-prone quarterbacks. When a quarterback struggles with sacks, interceptions, or fumbles, your defense has a better chance to score fantasy points. Look for quarterbacks who face pressure easily or have a history of risky throws. This can lead to more sacks and turnovers, which are key for fantasy scoring. Next, consider defenses that are favored to win by a significant margin. When a defense is expected to dominate, they often apply more pressure on the opposing offense. This can force mistakes and even lead to defensive touchdowns. A large point spread usually means the opposing team will need to pass more, increasing the chances for sacks and interceptions. Analyzing the matchup between the defensive line and the offensive line is also important. A strong defensive line against a weak offensive line can result in more sacks and disrupted plays. Use matchup tools or expert analysis to identify these situations. Another factor is the volume of passes thrown by the opposing offense. Defenses facing teams that pass frequently have more opportunities for sacks and interceptions. However, this works best if the quarterback is also prone to mistakes. High dropback counts combined with a weak offensive line or a turnover-prone quarterback create the best scenarios for defenses to score points. Streaming defenses week to week is a smart strategy. Instead of sticking with one defense all season, pick up and start defenses with favorable matchups. This approach allows you to capitalize on weak offenses or struggling quarterbacks. Early in the season, some defenses may have easier matchups against poor offenses or injured quarterbacks. Identifying these defenses can lead to strong fantasy production before tougher matchups come into play. Lastly, avoid defenses that are up against strong offenses or elite quarterbacks. These matchups typically result in fewer sacks and turnovers, limiting your fantasy scoring potential. It is best to steer clear of these defenses unless you have no other options. In your weekly lineup decisions, use projections and matchup analysis tools to identify vulnerable quarterbacks and weak offensive lines. Prioritize defenses that are favored to win or have a significant game spread advantage. Rotate your defenses weekly to take advantage of the best matchups, and keep an eye on injury reports that could affect the opposing offense. By focusing on these matchup factors, you can maximize your defensive fantasy points through sacks, interceptions, fumble recoveries, and defensive touchdowns. This will improve your weekly lineup decisions and help you succeed throughout the season.